Hi, I'm Brenda Causey with Causey Bee Farm. My husband David and I started beekeeping in 2014, and our passion is bees and helping other people learn how to become beekeepers. In today's video, we're going to talk about our top 5 tips for beginning beekeepers. Tip number 1, location, location, location. We have our bee yard located close to a fence row on the north side of our property, with the entrances facing south. They are in full sun, but protected from the harsh winds in our area by the fence row. We cleared a large area around the bee yard and laid out black, heavy-gauge woven landscaping fabric to keep the weeds down. It's best for the weeds to be kept off of the hives and a clear area in front of and behind the hives. I can mow quickly around the hives without a suit on, and I don't have to worry about getting stung. And it's helped keep ants and other pests out of our hives. Bees can do partial shade, but typically small hive beetles thrive in shade and near pine trees, so try to place hives in a full sun as much as possible. As you can see in these pictures, weeds grow up pretty fast when we can't keep up with weeding around the hives. The landscape fabric has helped us keep the weeds under control and helps the bees have an unobstructed view of their home. It's working great so far. Tip number 2 is start with 2 hives. You'll need 2 nukes or nucleus colonies, or 2 packages of bees, and 2 complete hives with tops, bottoms, and frames. The reason you want 2 hives is so that if one is having an issue, you can borrow resources from your strong hive and give it to the weak hive. If you only have 1 hive and you start having an issue, there are not a lot of options, unless you're lucky enough to have a beekeeping friend close by who will help you. Tip number 3, buy local bees. There are so many reasons to buy local, but the main one is that your bees will be acclimated to your local seasonal weather patterns already. They survived over winter in your location and are ready to thrive. If you get bees from Florida and try to raise them in Michigan, they may not do as well as bees that are acclimated to Michigan weather and have been raised there. Also, ask the beekeeper you are buying your bees from if they are local and make sure they're not commercial bees. Commercial bees are overworked and from our experience do not do well for backyard beekeepers. The absolute best way to get bees is to catch a swarm. They are free and they are local. We'll be talking about catching swarms and building your own swarm catcher box in our next video. So be sure to subscribe to get the notification when that's released. Tip number 4, join your local bee club and Facebook groups. Check your county ag department. Each state usually has a local beekeeping association. Our county group and the Tennessee Beekeepers Association has been a great resource for us. Facebook has tons of great groups to join for every type of beekeeping. Check Facebook for local beekeeping groups. Local contacts are a great resource. You can get local queens if you need one in an emergency, and they usually have things available that you can borrow, like extractors and honey processing equipment. Tip number 5, make a decision. Beekeeping can be overwhelming. So many different choices and opinions are out there. Remember, you can ask 5 beekeepers the same question and you're going to get 10 different answers. Do your research, then make a decision. Go with it until you figure out it does or doesn't work for you, or find a better way of doing it. This mindset will help you throughout your beekeeping journey. We usually lean towards little to no interventions in our apiary, but there are techniques that are common with many beekeepers that, depending on your location and other factors, may or may not work for you. For example, screened or solid bottom boards. One beekeeper says he has 50 hives and he only uses bottom boards. Another beekeeper has 100 hives and uses screened bottoms only. Another beekeeper has 200 hives and uses both, and says it doesn't matter. The lesson here is there are general guidelines, but do what works for you and your bees. You will make mistakes. We all do. Do your research and make a decision. The most important thing is for you to have strong, healthy bees. So to review our top 5 tips for beginning beekeepers, tip number 1 was location, location, location. Find a nice spot in full sun, next to a fence row preferably, and make sure your entrances are south facing. Tip number 2, start with 2 hives. They support each other. Tip number 3, buy local bees. Local is best. Tip number 4, join the club. Find local friendly beekeepers. Tip number 5, make a decision. Do your research, then make a decision. That's our top 5 tips for beginning beekeepers. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions. We would love to connect with you online. Please share our video with your friends and like and subscribe so you can get all the notifications when we release new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.